Hello again everyone, this is Zombie Kids Rule and I'm back with part 4 of the tutorial for how I recreated the Eye of the Beholder character generation process in RPG Maker MZ. Again, I apologize if it sounds like I'm talking a little low. I am. I'm trying not to disturb anyone while I'm recording this, so you may have to turn the sound up a little bit. I apologize for that. So we're going to jump right in. This is part 4, so I strongly recommend that you go back, look at the demos of what this actually does, the comparison between the Eye of the Beholder game itself and what I recreated, and then I recommend you watch the first 3 parts. Those cover the initial setup, the selection of the portrait, the selection of race, and the selection of class. And so now in part 4, we're going to be talking about the selection of the alignment. Now, what I will say is that if you've watched the other parts, you'll notice that I'm explaining some of the things less and less because it is repeated. The concepts, the reasoning, the logic is very similar for a lot of these parts. So, I am going to cover everything, so you'll see it, and I'll just say when things just need to be copied and pasted, and then changed. Certain things changed. So again, we're at the alignment. So let me just show you how this works, so that you'll again refresh your memory if you haven't watched the demo, so that you'll see what it is we're recreating. So here are the 9 alignments. When you click on once, it changes to red, just like the race and the class. And if you click twice, it will move you to the next step. However, I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to do it yet, because when we do that, you can't go back anymore. So I just want to highlight a couple things. If we click Paladin, there's only lawful good, so we have to account for that. If we select Ranger, it's only good. We have to account for that. If you select Thief, it's everything except lawful good, and you have to account for that. And then, if you already have a paladin in your party, you can't have any evil alignments, so you have to account for that. All right. So again, this is we're going to talk about all those restrictions and setting this alignment set events up. Okay. So here we are. We're in our common events again. We've covered all these down to where alignments is. So this first, if you'll remember, in the classes, any of these classes, when you have selected something twice, one of the things it does is it calls the common event alignments, okay, and then it exits the class common events. So it's calling this common event alignments, and what it's essentially doing is it's showing that initial list that I just highlighted. So if it's Paladin, it's only going to show lawful good. If it's Ranger, it's only going to show good. If it's Thief, it's going to show all of them except the lawful evil. I'm sorry, lawful good. It's going to show everything except lawful good. And it's also going to account for if you already have a Paladin in your party. Right? So it has to do all of that, and it's just showing the initial alignments available based on your character up to this point. All right, so this common event gets called. Common event called to allow the player to select an alignment based on the selected class, and actually it's based on not just the class, it's the race as well. So first thing it does, set the step number of that variable. Talked about this in the previous parts. We are now in step 3. Okay, you've seen this before. There's a script to erase the pictures 10 through 34. I already explained why it's erasing pictures 10 through 34, even though there may not be all those pictures on the screen. We're just erasing all the possibles because not sure exactly where we came from to get back to this particular spot in the creation process. So next, show alignment options to make all alignments selectable. So the first text picture plugin is just that text select alignment. It's in blue. Then we use show picture, right, to display that. Then we have to go through conditional branch checks to determine what alignments are available based on class and actually race and a few other restrictions. Paladin, lawful good only. Ranger, good alignments only. Thief, all except lawful good. So now we're going to go through a series of conditional branches, conditional checks, to see what's happening. So the very first one is a conditional branch to see if you're creating a paladin. So conditional branch, if paladin switch is on, so if you're creating a paladin, then you're just going to show lawful good as an option. You know, do your plugin text picture, show your picture, and then use button picture to make it selectable. And it's common event 379, which is lawful good right here, 379. And then it's going to exit. So if this event gets called, or when this event gets called, the first thing it checks is, are you making a paladin? If so, just show one choice, lawful good, and exit. Okay, now if you're not making a paladin, it skips over this, and then it checks, are you making a ranger? So conditional branch, if ranger switch is on, then you're just going to show the three choices for good: lawful good, neutral good, and chaotic good. And just remember, pay attention to your picture numbers and aligning your picture numbers and your common events, right? 379, 380, 381, 379, 380, 381. Okay? And then it's going to exit. So this is pretty easy so far. Then it gets to a point that says, okay, I'm not making a paladin, I'm not making a ranger. Well, thief has a restriction too. So let's check if you're making a thief. If, conditional branch, thief type class is on, because remember there's more classes than just the straight thief. There's fighter thief, there's fighter mage thief, there's cleric thief, mage thief. So if thief type class is on, then conditional branch to check if a paladin is in the party. If yes, then evil alignments are removed as options. So this is a conditional branch that's dealing with if the thief type class is on, and then underneath that, so a nested conditional branch, there's going to be is paladin in party, and let's just check this really quick. This has no else branch, but this one does have an else branch, right? Because it's going to basically say, if paladin in party switches on, that means there's a paladin in the party, then you're going to show these alignments, which is basically, it's not going to show lawful good because thieves can't be lawful good, right? So it's going to show neutral good, chaotic good, lawful neutral, true neutral, chaotic neutral, and then that's it. Because if there's a paladin in the party, there can't be an evil party member. So it's going to just show these alignments and then exit event processing. The else branch means if paladin in party switch is off, right? That's what the else is. Then it's going to show all the choices except lawful good, because thieves can't be lawful good. So it's going to show neutral good, chaotic good, lawful neutral, true neutral, chaotic neutral, lawful evil, neutral evil, and chaotic evil. And then it's going to exit the event processing. Okay? So now we have seen a conditional branch that takes care of if it's a paladin. We've seen a conditional branch if it's a ranger. We've seen a conditional branch if the thief type class is on, and there's a nested conditional branch about if there's already a paladin in the party, right? Paladin in party is on. This only gets turned on, but we saw where this gets turned on. This gets turned on in the classes. This paladin in party only gets turned on when we fully create a character and then we decide to keep them. So we haven't seen that yet, all right? Okay, so we've gone through those three. So the last part is from here down is just the regular character. Like if you're making a fighter, if you're making a cleric, if you're making a mage, right? So we've already checked about paladin, we've already checked about ranger, we've already checked about thief. So these are all the other classes that are taken care of. And you'll notice that all these other ones had exit event processing. So if any of these conditional branches are triggered, you're going to exit the event process and you'll never get to this part down here. Okay? But assuming it's not a thief type, it's not a paladin, it's not a ranger, it's going to get down to here. Conditional branch to check if a paladin is in the party, right? And if yes, then evil alignments are removed, because it doesn't matter if it's a thief or not. If you have a paladin in the party, your cleric can't be evil, your mage can't be evil, right? Your fighter can't be evil. So this is the very same concept. If conditional branch paladin in party switches on, then show the good alignments and show the neutral alignments. So you're going to show 6 alignments and of course make them clickable. Else, if paladin in party is off, then you're going to show all 9 alignments, right? All 3 good, all 3 neutral, and all 3 evil, right? Because if we're down here in this section, it's not a thief. The thief class is not involved. It's not a ranger and it's not a paladin. Okay? So all you're checking is there a paladin in the party? If yes, only show the good and neutral alignments, and if it's no, then show all 9 alignments. And that's it. That's it for that event, right? And this is the event that basically sets up the initial alignment choices based on your class, right? And then we're going to have separate common events for when you actually click on one of the alignments, just like when you clicked on a race or when you clicked on class. Okay? All right. So you're going to see that these common events for lawful good all the way down to chaotic evil are very similar. So let's look at lawful good. So common event that changes the text color, you've seen this before. All this is basically saying is when you click on the alignment once, it turns red. All the other alignment choices that are displayed turn white. If you click on it twice in a row, then it actually moves forward in the character generation process. Okay, it's going to actually move forward to the bio screen. Okay, and then it's saying that we're going to have a different set of 4 variables that is going to save the alignment name. So just like with race and just like with class, the first part of the event is what happens if you have clicked twice in a row, right? So if conditional branch lawful good switch is on, right? So we clicked lawful good once and then we clicked lawful good twice. So if lawful good is on, these should look familiar, right? We use those with races and we use those with classes. And we have 4 different variables, right? CC1 alignment, CC2 alignment, CC3 alignment, CC4 alignment, depending on which box you checked. And then you have a string that's going to hold the alignment name, so we can display it later on. Okay, so this should look very familiar. Then it's going to call the common event bio screen, because we're going to move the character selection process forward, and then it's going to exit. Right? This is how the events for race and classes work too. Now down here is if you haven't clicked, if you've only clicked once, right? If you're only clicking once on a alignment. So reminder: paladin lawful good only, ranger good alignments only, thief all except lawful good. So the first thing it's going to check is going to say, just like the alignments up here, is the paladin switch on? Okay, if the paladin switch is on, it's going to show the lawful good in red. There's nothing to turn white because there's only one classification. I'm sorry, there's only one alignment. So there's nothing to turn white. Make it clickable. Turn off all alignment switches, right? And I explained why we do this, right? Because we don't know what we clicked here before, right? We don't know. Maybe I clicked chaotic neutral, then I clicked neutral good, then I clicked chaotic evil. Now I'm clicking lawful good. Well, I'm going to turn off all those switches. Then I'm going to turn all the evil switches off. So CC evil switch. Character creation. Basically, these switches are turned on if you actually create an evil character. Okay? If you actually create an evil character. So we're going to turn those off just in case they got turned on somehow. And then we're going to turn on the appropriate alignment switch, which is lawful good. Because lawful good was what was clicked on. This is what was called. So we're going to turn on lawful good, and then we're going to exit because we don't want it to do any of the rest of this stuff, right? Because we're dealing with a paladin. All right, so if we're not dealing with a paladin, it's going to check, are we dealing with a ranger? So conditional branch. If ranger switches on, then show the three good choices. Neutral good and chaotic good will be in white text, and then the lawful good will be in red, right? Just like the races and classes, the way it was set up. They're all being made clickable. Turn off all the alignment switches, turn off all the CC evil switches, and then turn on the appropriate lawful good switch, right? So this is basically copy and pasted from the paladin portion, okay? And then, right, it's not a paladin, it's not a ranger, and it can't be a thief because thieves can't be lawful good. So we don't even have to deal with a conditional branch for thieves here. So we go right into the rest of the event, which is it's not a paladin, it's not a ranger, it's not a thief, it's one of the other classes. And all this is doing is it's showing all the available alignments. So neutral good, chaotic good, lawful good, the three neutral, let's see. I'm sorry. It's neutral good and chaotic good, right? Because these are in white. The three neutrals, the three evils, and then lawful good is in red, right? And I already explained why in one of the previous tutorials, one of the previous parts, why it's at the end of the list, right? Why I move it to the end of the list. And then this is just copied and pasted. Turn off the alignment switches, turn off the CC evil switches, turn on the appropriate switch for lawful good. Okay? And that's the lawful good common event. Now the rest of these are going to be very, very, very similar. You're just moving a few things around. So neutral good, right? This should look very familiar. You're just changing this to if neutral good is on, this is the same. Change your string. This is the same. Now we don't have to check paladin because paladins can only be lawful good. So we skip right over checking paladins. We will repeat the ranger portion because rangers can be lawful good, neutral good, or chaotic good. So we're going to check if ranger is on, then make sure they only have the good choices, and make sure the neutral good is in red because that's where we are. All of this is the same, only you're changing the switch to neutral good. Okay, remember you're exiting the processing. We then have to account for if we're dealing with a thief. So if thief type class is on, then underneath that, we've seen this before in the alignments portion, is there a paladin in the party? If paladin and party switch is on, then make sure that you're only showing the appropriate alignments, right? So the chaotic good, the neutrals, and then wait a second. Yeah, because the neutral good is down here. So the way I did this time was up in this one, there's no text being made red in this actual part here. It's actually being made right after this conditional branch, and that's perfectly fine. And I'll show you why. So all of this is turning the non-selected, so anything other than neutral good, is being changed to white. So chaotic good, then lawful neutral, true neutral, and chaotic neutral. Then the else branch is there is no paladin in the party, right? So paladin in party is off. Then it shows chaotic good, the neutral, the neutral, the neutral, and then it shows the evils, right? And then that else branch ends. So then it immediately goes down to here, right? And it says, oh, now I'm going to show the neutral good as red. I could have put this in each one of these. I could have put it here, and I could have put it here. But there was no need to, because I could put it at the end here, and it would only have to show once instead of being in each of these up here. Okay, so neutral good is being shown in red, and then this was all the same from the previous one when we were dealing with a ranger. Now from here down is all the rest of the classes, right? All the rest of the classes. So this is like a copy and paste from one of the previous events. If Paladin in Party is on, then you're only going to show the alignments that are available. So basically no evil alignments, right? And then the else branch is, it can have the evil alignments. And then after both of those, it's going to do the neutral good in red. So I did this a few times, right? I made the part where the text is being turned red, I made it after the conditional branch, right? Because rather than have it twice, rather than have it here and have it here, it can just be once down here afterwards. And then this is the same, okay? And that takes care of neutral good. All right. So now, and these actually get a little bit easier after the chaotic good, because you no longer have to check for rangers after chaotic good, because rangers can only be good. So chaotic good is very, very similar to neutral good. So now you're checking if chaotic good switches on. These are the same. Just change your string. This is the same. The ranger is essentially the same, right? It's the same as it was for neutral good, except that neutral good is now going to be shown in white, and chaotic good is going to be shown in red, right? And then these are all the same. So you can basically copy and paste from neutral good. Then the thief type class is also a copy and paste. So thief type class is on. Then we have to check, is Paladin and Party on? And then these are the ones being turned white, right? And just, notice that chaotic good isn't listed here. The else branch, meaning that the other alignments are available, which include the evil ones, right? They include the evil ones. And because we are in the thief type, right, there's no lawful good. And then after this conditional branch, we have the turn the chaotic good red, because that's where we are, chaotic good. And then these are all the same, just changing this to chaotic good. Okay? And then, just like with neutral good, we have that ending part of the event where if it's not a ranger and if it's not a thief type, then it's everybody else. And so this can be literally a copy and paste. If Paladin in Party switches on, then do the alignments that are being changed to white, right? Not chaotic good, right? Chaotic good is going to be turned to red. Else, if a Paladin is not in the party, then show all the alignments available, right? So now we have lawful good as well. So the two goods, right? Because chaotic good's going to be in red. So the two goods, the three neutrals, and the three evils. After that conditional branch, then we do the change the chaotic good to red, and then these stay the same, right? So again, as you'll notice, you can just you could, in theory, copy neutral good as chaotic good and then just make small changes. Okay, now, lawful neutral. This is where we no longer have to worry about the ranger, right? So if lawful neutral switch is on, this is the same. Change your string to lawful neutral. This is the same. Now, we don't have to worry about paladins. We don't have to worry about rangers. So now we just go into, well, are we dealing with a thief? So if thief type class is on, and then we have our if paladin in party is on, so this is literally a copy and paste from one of the previous ones. We do the same thing. All this is showing the available, the other alignments in white. And then this is showing, if there's no paladin in the party, all the possible alignments for a thief in white, right? And then after the common event, it's showing lawful neutral, because that's where we are, as red. And then this is a copy and paste from one of the previous ones, and we're changing this switch to lawful neutral. And then we exit event processing. And then the ending of this event is just like it was for these other ones. If paladin is in party, then we have to limit, right? We have to limit the alignment choices, no evil. If they're not in the party, right, if the switch is off, then we have all the alignments available. And after, remember these are turning things white, after the conditional branch, then we turn the appropriate lawful neutral to red, and then all this is the same. So the way I did this was I made one, and then I copied and pasted it, and I made the necessary changes. And a lot of times it was just moving, one of the things that had been red back up to be white, and one of the things that had been white down in to make it red, right? The previous ones. So it really was pretty simple. You just have to pay attention to what you're doing. True neutral, very, very similar, right? So if true neutral is on, this is the same. Change your string. Common event bioscreen, this is all the same. Exit event. And then you do your if thief type class is on, this is the same as it was in the previous ones. If paladin and party is on, then you've got all your classes copied and pasted, your else branch copy and pasted. You just have to make sure you move the lawful neutral back up into the white, turning white, and the true neutral move down into the turning it red. Right? That's all you got to do in that section. And then this is the same as the previous ones, except you change the switch to true neutral. All of this is exactly the same as the previous one. If paladin is in party, you have all your alignments. And then the else branch, you have all your alignments. You just move lawful neutral back into the up here, right? So you can see that lawful neutral is here now being changed white. And you move true neutral down into the turn it red section. And then these are all the same. Okay? Very, very, very simple. Chaotic neutral, exactly the same way. If chaotic neutral is on, same. Change your string, same. This is all the same from the previous examples. You're just making sure that you change what you're turning red to be chaotic neutral, and you moved true neutral back into its spot, right, where you're turning things white. This is all the same, except you're changing the switch to chaotic neutral. Down here till the bottom, all the same as the previous one. You just, again, are making sure that you have changed what you're turning red to chaotic neutral, and you've moved true neutral back up into the where you're turning things white, and all this is the same. Okay? Lawful evil. So don't think there's anything different here. So if lawful evil switch is on, oh yes, I'm sorry. This is where we have to start tracking if we have a an evil character. Okay, so this is just a tiny bit different. If lawful evil switch is on, these are the same as they were before, except that you're of course you're changing your string to lawful evil, and then you're turning a switch on to basically say, hey, I am creating an evil character for character 1. So CC1 evil switch is on. or if it's box 2, CC2 evil switches on, right, or 3 or 4. This is going to be used later in another event, okay? So then this is the same as the previous events. This is all the same as the previous events. If thief type class is on, right? And then let's see, let's go back up here. If thief type class is on, this is asking if there's a paladin in the party. But here's the thing. If there is a paladin in the party, you won't even get the choice to select an evil character. So these common events don't have to do that nested conditional branch of if the paladin in party switches on. You don't have to do that, because if there's a paladin in the party, we've already taken care of it. You won't even get the choice to click on an evil character. Okay, so now the thief type class conditional branch is, there's no nested conditional branch. It's just all under this one. If thief type class is on, then these are the alignments available, right? Which is just missing lawful good, and then lawful evil is in red. Okay, and then these are all the same as the previous ones, except you're turning the switch lawful evil on and you're exiting event processing. The rest of the event is for all the classes that aren't thieves, and of course there's no rangers and there's no paladins, so it's all the alignments. So the 3 goods, the 3 neutrals, and then of course 2 of the evils, and then lawful evil is down here being turned red. And then this is the same. Okay? Now, neutral evil and chaotic evil are going to be pretty much identical to the lawful evil one. So neutral evil, if neutral evil switches on, this is going to be pretty much the same, right, as the lawful evil, except you're going to change the string, and this switch is still being turned on. And okay, so these switches are still being turned on. This is the same. This is the same, except that you are moving neutral evil down to be turned red, and lawful evil is being moved up here to be turned white. This is the same. You're just changing this to neutral evil. And then the end of the event is all the same as lawful evil, except, again, you're moving, neutral evil. You're moving neutral evil down to the bottom to be turned red, and you're moving lawful evil back up to be turned white, and then this is the same, right, as the previous part up here, turning neutral evil on. And chaotic evil is the last one. It's essentially the same thing. So if chaotic evil switches on, this is exactly the same as it was for the previous 2 evils, except you're just changing the string. This is the same. This is a copy and paste from like the previous one, except you're moving chaotic evil to be turned red, and neutral evil is being moved back up to be turned white. This is the same, except you're changing the string to the switch to chaotic evil. Exit event processing. And then this is a copy and paste from the previous one, just like before. Just make sure you're turning chaotic evil red and neutral evil white, and this is the same. Okay? And so that's the alignments. That is taking care of the alignments. All right? Now, let's see. This is a little bit, you know what, I'm gonna stop this part of the tutorial, because I'd like to keep these shorter in I guess in chunks, and the next tutorial, part 5, will be the bioscreen, the dice rolls, and the HP determination. That's actually quite a bit. There's quite a bit going on here, and then we'll get into some of the other things. So Yeah, we'll just leave this with alignments, and then I'll do another video doing the next step. Okay. So anyway, I hope this is helpful, folks. I know this is a lot, but it's you might be watching this just for concepts to see how you can do this. You might be interested in recreating this so that once you get it to work, you can then do extra things with it, play around with it, make changes, whatever. It's all up to you. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. We're going to end this one here, and I hope you're having a great New Year's. I hope you're having a great time working, making games. Learning RPG Maker. So happy gaming, happy game developing, and until I get another video up, I can get it recorded. I hope you guys have a great time, a great weekend. It's Saturday right now, and I will talk to everybody later. Okay, bye.